Hello my dear students and welcome once again to Zenith Academy Online. Today we are going to study past continuous tense. Let's begin. Now when to use past continuous? For actions in progress in the past. Now we use it to talk about actions or events that were happening at a specific moment in the past. So they were happening there at the specific moment in the past. We know at some time it was happening in the past. So let's see the example. I was reading a book at 5 p.m. yesterday. So at 5 p.m. there was this action happening in the past because it is yesterday. She was cooking dinner when the phone rang. So that action was happening at a specific moment in the past. They were playing chess at 7 p.m. last night. So last night they were playing chess. That was happening. The action was happening. I was studying for the exam during the storm. So when storm was there, during that time at specific moment I was studying for the exam. Now we also use past continuous for actions interrupted by another action. So it is used when one action in the past was ongoing and got interrupted by another action. For example, she was watching TV when the phone rang. Okay, so the action got interrupted. So was watching is showing that it is past continuous. He was talking on the phone when his friend arrived. So that action was interrupted by another action. They were having a picnic when it started to rain heavily. So the action interrupted. I was watching TV when the power went out. So now let's talk about how to form past continuous. This is very important. Let's begin with positive form. Now to write a positive sentence of past continuous, you start with the subject, add was or were. Now when do you use was and when do you use were? You use was for these subjects I, he, she and it, and use were for you, we and they. Now this is different from others. Okay, was and were case is different. So please remember, for was, for I, he, she and it you will use was. For you, we and they you will use were. Okay, then you add the base form of the verb plus ing. Let's see the example. I, so you started with I. So with I what you will use? Was. I was. Then base form of the verb play, and then since it is continuous, so add ing. I was playing soccer. Next, they. Now when you use they, so with they what do you use? You use were. So they were eat plus ing, eating. They were eating dinner. We were studying for the math test. Now let's see the negative form. Use not after was or were to form negative sentences. Now it's the same as positive sentence. We just have to use not after was or were. Then you can also use the contractions wasn't or weren't, right? So instead of was not, you can use wasn't. Instead of were not, you can use weren't. Okay, let's see the example. He wasn't watching TV. She wasn't studying for the exam. They. Now with they you will use were not or weren't. They weren't sleeping at that time. Now let's see the question form. So in the question form we never begin with the subject. We begin with was or were. Then we add the subject and then add the base form of the verb with ing. So let's see. Was he reading a book? Were they playing in the park? Were you sleeping when I called you? So students, think upon this. What were you doing this time yesterday? You have to do some great things now, today. So if you want to change your future, if you want to be successful, then you should be doing something better than what you were doing yesterday. So if you like learning on Zenith Academy Online, please do subscribe to us and do tap on the bell icon to receive all the notifications. Bye bye my dear students, and keep the learning always on.